Hey guys, I have a fun card for us today. It's a pumpkin cocoa, pumpkin hot cocoa card. I just thought it was a super fun fold, and I like the idea of having the cup pop off the side here. So I'm not gonna yap too long. I don't usually do fancy cards with lots of layers like this. My friend Candy Rattray, Rattray is her last name, Candy Rattray. Her company is called Sweet Stamper, and she does these fancier folds all the time. So if that is your thing, I recommend, obviously you love my Disney aspect, but I always am going to cheer on my friends. And she's actually like, really high up in the Stampin' Up company. I'm always going to recommend what you guys are going to need best. So if you guys like the fancier folds, she does them all the time. I'm trying to integrate them more, but she does them all the time. And so just as a thought, her name is Sweet Stamper and her name is Candy Rattray. And so I've got our stuff here and we're using a few different things. So we're using this stamp set and dies. So this is the More Than Autumn stamp set and the dies. I cut out most of the pieces ahead of time. I usually do that just to save time while we're, crafting. And I'll tell you the layers. And I cut out the different pieces. Let me set those in my little tray is full. I have my little trays so that I don't lose things, and then they're full of stuff now. So here, I'll just set it here. I'll set it right there on the light because it won't go anywhere there. And then we've got my cup. I went ahead and cut that one. Yeah, I think there should be one more. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and I think that's everything. And then we'll make this one say hot cocoa. While the pumpkin cocoa, I think, is still really cool. I think most people won't identify with it. I will tell you about pumpkin hot cocoa, though. It is the best. So you make hot cocoa and you add pumpkin spice to it, and it makes it so yummy. So I just love it. It's just a fun, what's the word? My brain is not here. It's just a really fun alternative, So, all right, so we've got our basic layers. And actually, I think I'm going to stamp. So let's get our ink. So we're going to use there we go, Early Espresso ink, because that's, to me, the best color for this today. And I want to get my pumpkin pie out. Yep. And we'll get our little layer. We need a little tag. So we'll grab a tag here and set that aside. And this is just a 1/4 inch piece that's been taken off of, I think it's is it a 1/4 inch? That's been taken off the edge of paper, when I make a layer, like the inside. When I cut my little inside layers, there's always little strips on the side that I have extra. And so I save those, and those usually become really good labels, just FYI. So let's go ahead and get our stamps. I need this one and I need this one. And then I forgot to add sprinkles. So I actually should add sprinkles to that. So, all right, and we need our little pumpkin. All right, we're good. And our scrap, there we go. All right, we're good to go. So for the inside layer, I'm gonna go ahead and just, to be honest, I wanna stamp a little pumpkin on the inside corner of this because I just think that's a super fun addition. There we go. And I'm gonna do that to my card that I already made. There it is. And I'm gonna I'll tell you the measurements of everything. All right. So that's our little pumpkin. I just wanted it on the inside. So we're just gonna glue this on the inside. Nothing fancy for that. And then And this is 4¼ or this is 4 inches by 5¼ for the vanilla layer. The vanilla layer is that. So this one is basically a front card. You know, it's like the front of a card, but I just trimmed off the excess. So this is technically 6½ inches by 5½. And I scored it at 2¼ Okay, and so that's how I got that. So I had a scrap. I have a bunch of little old olive scraps from this. And so that's how we get our inside, basic inside layer. Then, for the outer layer, I'm trying to do too many things at one time. So, okay, let's keep doing this part. Sorry. All right, so then this is 2 inches by 5¼ And then this little scrap piece, this all came from, this paper comes from, I thought I left my paper out, but I think I put it away. Hold on 1 second, let me grab it. The name of it is, it's gorgeous paper. It's called Autumn Toile. That's it. I don't know how I forgot the name because I just love it. I've been using it. It's got all this great fall paper. So it's got the pumpkins, it's got the wilderness, like a forest with the deer. It's also got the, you know, some pheasants. I think those are pheasants. And there's one other style in here, I think. There's the stripes, but, oh, there's the foxes on the other side. It's really cool paper. I actually am trying to think of what else I'll use it for. I've got some other thoughts, you know, so no boo-boo, no. And so this is the back of the pheasant paper. And this is 1 3/4 by 5 inches. And so I just like the contrast of having this paper on this little spot here. I thought that was fun. I got this idea from just, you know, online, you know, Googling the paper, and someone made a card similar to this. Sorry, my paper is moving a little bit. Come on. It's like pretty crooked. Hold on. Whoop, there it goes. But it's still wet, so. Okay. It only tore it a little bit. Let me put some more on. But yeah, it was like obviously crooked, so I had to fix it. All right. All right, so let's try this again. Sometimes it's harder because the other glue is already tacky on the bottom. Let's see if we can get it straight now. Okay, yeah, that's good. All right, good. And luckily it was still wet enough to where, oh, and I got some out the side here. Now there's a little spot under there that's not going down. There we go. And we'll get our glue eraser that I got from Lisa. Remember the be gentle when you rub the glue eraser on the DSP, because sometimes it can rip it. So try to keep it to the cardstock when you're getting your excess glue off. There we go. All right, so we got our excess glue off. And we're gonna go ahead and put this down. I'm not feeling that great today for some reason. I've got like a headache and I'm having trouble focusing. I think I'm a little under the weather. Yesterday I wasn't feeling that great either. So anyway, so all right, so we've got, this was 2 1/4. Oh, now that one's, oh Jen, come on. That one's crooked. I'm rushing. And so then that means I make mistakes. So I gotta slow down for you guys. Sorry. I don't want to do every step 2 or 3 times. All right. So this whole panel was 2 1/4. So the early espresso paper was 2 inches by 5 1/4 because this is 5 1/2. So 2 1/4 by 5 1/2 is just this panel. Then the layer on top is 2 inches by 5 1/4, and then 1 3/4 by 5. So again, remember, I always go down by 1/4 inch, and that's my personal preference for doing cards like this. My personal preference is to always have a 1/4 inch layer. I just like the look of that. So then to get our outside layer, so this layer is going to go inside here. We're going to center it so where it pops up. Now this layer is, let me move this over. This layer is 6 1/2, and I scored it at 3 1/4. I just scored it in half. And don't glue your paper on backward. So make sure you're prepared. So this is how it's going to go inside. So my little pumpkin patch, I want to go right here. Okay. So that means I need to make sure I glue it on the right side. So sometimes to keep myself from gluing the wrong piece, I'm going to flip this over actually, because the other end has a better finish. But again, I'm still going to be able to open my card up. So, you know, before you put it down, just double check, make sure you're putting it on the right side, because I have glued, and because I'm rushing, I'm wanting to make sure I don't, because I've been rushing myself for no reason. You know, there's really no reason. I think it's just because I'm a little under the weather. But, so that nice layer. Normally, I would add another layer on top of this, but I really wanted a larger, I think because it already has the cardstock behind it, I was okay with it. And I also knew that if I added another 1/4 inch layer, it would make this little piece so tiny, and I really wanted a larger front, you know, for the pumpkin patch corn maze deal. And you know what? I'm not going to waste any time, and we'll get started on our little stamping. Oh, I've got to glue this on the inside. So now to glue this on the inside, I recommend you just put a little glue here. I did it with the Terran tape, and you know, and I'm only going to do like 1 inch, because I want to have plenty of glue. But I also want to make sure I can maneuver it and get it to wiggle a little. And that little amount, that inch, should be enough, but I can still maneuver the card, you know, because this little piece, if you put the Terran tape, once it's down, it's like down. And I wanted to have a little room to maneuver it so that my little center piece is equal to the other. And then we just press it down, and see it's even a little crooked right there. I can see it's a little crooked. And so now it's good. Yeah, the front is good. It's a little bit higher up here than down here, but I'm not worried about that. But again, see, I was able to continue to move the page or the card so that I could get it even on the front of the card. So anyway, so that's enough rambling from that. So now let's go ahead and get started on our last bit, our little bits of stamping. I already stamped this piece, so pardon me, you guys. Like, I used this stamp. I already stamped an extra one. Oh no, I guess this one was a little too light, but I think it's fine. I'm not going to waste it. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp my pumpkin right here in the center, and then we're going to cut this out, and then we'll go ahead and we'll stamp our nothing's better than, or nothing is better. Yeah, nothing is better than. We'll stamp that real quick. Get that out of the way. Oh, good. And I got it centered, so that's good. Okay, so we're done with our orange. All right. And we've got that over there. We've got our pieces here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fussy cut this out. I'm just going to fussy cut out this little cocoa. And I've wasted enough of your time today, so I'm going to be quick, you know. And so when you're cutting out the little sleeve, cut to the outside. Do you see how I'm cutting to the outside of that line? I'm not cutting to the inside. It just gives a cleaner finish when you glue it on. So cut to the outside, not the inside. It's a trick. I did it the other way once and it just doesn't look as finished. Or it also looks a little tiny bit 3D when you do it this way. And so, all right, just a tiny bit. And so we've got our basics on here. Put our little glue. You don't need a ton of glue, just a little, whoops. A little too close to the edge there. Oh good, Boo Boosh found another spot to sit. All right. Okay, so we've got that. And again, I'm using the white glue. Oh, I got a little piece there, but we're leaving it. Okay, so then for this piece, I wanted it inside the cup, so I added just the tiniest bit of glue on the edge here. Just the tiniest bit. Because it's gonna put a little too much glue. But I want to have the glue on the edge here, and I put a little too much. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna need to get that off. I could have actually taped it, to be honest. I could have added a tiny piece of tape. Just to hold it in place before I put all the dimensionals. And so, yeah, there we go. And let's go ahead and let that sit for a second. Let me get my glue eraser because it was quite a big blob. All right. There we go. Oh, I forgot to put the sprinkles on. Let's put some orange sprinkles on. I think that'll be fun. Okay, so we've got some orange sprinkles on the top. And I like the early espresso look. Oops, I pulled it when I was erasing. There we go. So that's the early, some pumpkin sprinkles on the top. And I'm gonna go ahead and just cut this freehand right across. There we go. And again, you can get your trimmer out. If you don't wanna do it freehand, that's fine. And so for the dies, so in order to cut these out, just so you're aware, to cut out these shapes, I use the die cutter. So this one's the, and also to cut out the words. So I cut all those out. All right, so now we have Nothing's Better Than, and I'm gonna go ahead and use my mini dimensionals on this. I'm actually just using mini dimensionals across the whole thing because you know, it's just kind of narrow. You could use the larger dimensionals too. I just like not being able to see them. If it's like the regular dimensionals are just a tiny bit bigger, smaller than this strip. And so I kind of like using the small ones. Okay, Nothing Better Than, good. And that's down probably a little bit too low, but it'll be fine. And so then we go ahead and we punch out using just a 1/2 inch circle punch. I'm just gonna punch out 2 little early espresso circles, and I'm using those for my ears that I'm gonna glue on the back. And so, come on. There we go. That glue was really causing me problems there. All that extra glue. There we go. There we go. Good. All right, so now we just glue just a little dab, because you can secure this down with dimensionals too. Just a little dab to make your ears. And you know how they put those chocolate discs on it? You know, they do it for different things. Like I think I've seen a sundae with it and cupcakes and things like that. Just making it a little Mickey pumpkin spice hot cocoa. So in order to make pumpkin spice hot cocoa, whoops. Oh, goodness, come on. I'm all thumbs today. I'm all thumbs. There we go. I got it. Okay. Just, so in order to make pumpkin spice hot cocoa, oh, I need to glue on my words. In order to make pumpkin spice hot cocoa, you make your hot cocoa however you like to make it, and then you add the tiniest bit of pumpkin spice seasoning into it. Now, be careful because that's a strong spice blend. So make sure that you are ready. You know what I mean? Just the tiniest sprinkling because you don't want to do too much. You can also buy those syrups, the pumpkin spice syrups. But I just try to make my cocoa from, not from scratch. Well, I guess it is from scratch because I just make it straight with cocoa and almond milk and that's it. And so, but again, that's me. I also have like a little hot cocoa maker instead of a coffee maker because I'm Mormon, so we don't drink coffee. So anyway, so all right, and I'm gonna put hot cocoa here. Nothing's better than the hot cocoa, and I love hot cocoa. Hot cocoa is my favorite thing. Well, I don't know if it's my favorite food, but it's definitely like a comfort hot cocoa. Okay, so there are lots of ways you can get the glue on the back of this. There's even like a little tape you can use and different things. And I'm using this and I'm just trying to be gentle and making sure I get the tiniest bit spread on the back, but I'm not doing it to every single part. Just trying to get a little bit on each. You know, it doesn't have to be soaked in glue. Like that was a little too much, you know, so just trying to get it. And always on the ends, you want just a tiny bit. There we go. And so most of it's on my hands, to be honest. And I see a little excess right there. Before I put it down on the paper, I'll put it on my fingers. And so let's just make sure. Okay. And so then just gently press it down, but I'm going to use the top of my finger because my fingertips have glue on them all right now. So, and I can see some glue just seeped out right there. So again, just be gentle. And then, because you've got all this glue on your fingers, it's a little messier, I think, to do it that way. But I'm just going to use some alcohol wipes to get it off my fingers. And then I'm going to use the glue eraser to get that little bit that's squished out right here. There's just a tiny bit, but just be real gentle when you're doing it on the designer series paper because it can rip the light paper. So yeah, I think that's all that I see. And how you can see it is in the light, you'll see the glue shining. You'll see it just shining a little bit off the edge. And so just be gentle because these letters do tear. And then we're going to pop our cocoa right here. And the reason why I was kind of cautious when I was putting on my dimensionals for the hot cocoa is I wasn't sure if I'd need one on each ear, because if the ear comes off too much, you can't have a dimensional there because it'll stick to that. So anyway, so we're just gonna use these just because they're here. Oh my gosh, you're using way too many, but it's fine. I always use too many dimensionals, but this is even a little excessive for me. But And you just have to be careful because this is going to come off the page. So, or off that little center card. So you just want to make sure you have what you need, but it's not going to come off the edge here. And so I think I can put one right there to hold it. I just want to make sure that that little ear doesn't pop off when it's on the card and mailed and everything. So, whoopsie. Okay. So some people have convinced me to sell some of my Christmas cards on a Whatnot show. I'm planning it. I got to get some more cards. I only have a few right now. So I'm going to get some more. Oh, I meant to put 3D. You can also put 3D, you know, jimmies, you know, on there. Oh, and I forgot. So for this leaf, technically this leaf cuts out the inner and the outer part of the leaf. Now I kept them, they're not truly connected. They're just partially connected. So I'm just going to put a tiny bit of glue on the back here, and I'm just going to make sure it attaches to 2 different layers. Let's see, I'm starting to pull it. And I just want to put this little leaf. I just thought it was like a nice little addition. I cut a few of them out, and no. And so I cut a few out because I thought they were cute. Little lint there. And I just got to tuck it right here. And so you don't need a ton because it's just tucked there for an accent. Nothing crazy. So we're done. We're already done. So that's good. Okay, so we're already done. No. Okay, so we're already done. Boo Boosh is like, no, you don't get to do anything today. So there's our card. So we have the pumpkin one. And we have just the regular hot cocoa. I think the regular hot cocoa is a little more identifiable, you know what I mean? But I love pumpkin hot cocoa. Pumpkin spice hot cocoa, I guess, is what it is. But I didn't have room to put pumpkin spice. I do have the word, I think, spice. But I don't think it's not cut out. So anyway. So that's our fun little card. So thanks for tuning in. So that's our fun fold, and it does fit in a regular envelope. Now this kind of card might be more than 1 ounce. So just, you know, before you mail a card like this, you might want to triple check that it's not too heavy. So it's just something to think about. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate you. And thanks for your patience, and you have a great day. Bye.